Hello team, good evening. Hello team, good evening. This is Varun, your professional trainer. Please confirm the audio. Am I audible to you? Please confirm the voice. Am I audible to you? Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the reply. And I just need to know, is there any background noise? I just Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am quietly or clearly audible to you. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much for the responses. I am so happy to hear your responses. And yes, I would like to quickly go for my introduction. My name is Varun, and I hold 10 plus years of IT experience working with multiple Windows servers, Windows Edition servers. And yes, I have done a very good experiences with PowerShell as well as command prompt as well as the graphical user interface. Okay, in this past 10 plus years of experience, I hold 6 plus years of corporate training and with multiple technologies with various companies. And I am so happy to join Logic Lab Technologies to train the most desired persons who are willing to join to the IT corporates. This is about me, and yes, I would like to speak to few of you. And I'm so sorry to say this. I cannot speak to each and every participant here because as there are more participants, we cannot speak to each and every person. Uh, I am requesting you only something like I can only speak to few participants right now. Right now, I can speak only to the few participants so that I can get in touch with few of you so that I can go ahead with my session. Soon after the session, if you have any doubts, yes, each and every participant of the session has a right to get in touch with me. Yes, we are already always available with each and everyone. Okay. So right now, I would like to give a chance to only few people. So for those people who are raising hands, I'm going to give opportunity to speak. Okay, if you want to speak to me, please raise your hand. And I see a person who is raising the hand, Rajesh Kolla. Hi, Rajesh. I have allowed you to speak.
Hi, Varun. Good evening. This is
Good
Rakesh.
evening. Hello, Rakesh.
Yeah, yeah. Actually currently I'm working as a DevOps engineer from past 1.5 year. Before that, I was working as a non-technical financial support. So currently in my project, PowerShell is a necessity for me. So I would like to join this session to learn PowerShell from you.
Fantastic, fantastic. That is so good. Hearing to your towards your point, I understood that you have a requirement to understand the various shell platforms.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, you're in the right place and you'll definitely learn a very good things about the shell. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any more points about you, Rakesh?
In the sense, I mean,
Like what is your qualification, how much experience you hold, and what is the
all right.
domain you're working on?
All right. Actually, yeah. I'm an MBA graduate from uh, I have total 9 plus years of industry experience, but for past 7 years of experience into non-technical. I was working as a financial professional. Then from last 1.5 year, I did a Azure DevOps course. Then I got a chance to land into DevOps domain. So from past 1.5 year, I'm working as a DevOps engineer in one of the leading MNC.
Yet, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rakesh,
Mhm.
for sharing your experience with us. And next, I would like to give a chance to Navyasri. Yeah, Navyasri, you can unmute and you can speak to us.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Nitish. So sorry, Nitish, you can speak to us, please.
Okay. Hi, Varun. So Nitish Pandey this side. I am from Chandigarh, and currently I am working as a service desk analyst.
Okay.
And earlier I was in Hyderabad in Deloitte. I just want to know something that I'm having almost 6 years of experience in IT support and service desk, and I am thinking to move to cybersecurity part. I started learning Linux few months back, and I know not much, maybe something 10-20%. So I'm just curious to know that if I learn PowerShell, it will be useful for me to advance my career in cybersecurity or system administration advanced level.
Yes, what you said is absolutely right. And I suggest you to go ahead and take the course because
Mhm.
when you are going for system administration, yes, you have to know the graphical path as well as the CLI path.
Okay.
My suggestion is very clear to you. That is, we are handling each and everything graphically. That is so damn good. But yes, whenever we want to execute some things beyond the graphical user interface, then we require only the option that is shell interface. So I
Okay.
say very clear to you that is this is a good opportunity for you to understand how we are going to execute things via shell.
Okay, so is it going to, if I know Linux, something about Linux, so it is going to help me to learn PowerShell or,
Yes,
uh,
obviously it is gonna help you a lot. If you're familiar to Unix, then it will be very similar to you. And fortunately, if you're familiar with Unix, then definitely you're connected with Linux as well.
correct, correct.
Then when you know the Linux commands, then it would be pretty easier for you to understand the PowerShell commands. The only difference is the platform.
Yeah,
Microsoft
okay,
has designed their own platform and the open source is the other platform. Just to understand the platform. However, we are enjoying multiple different operating systems, even in our mobile phones. See, some are enjoying the Apple iOS operating systems, and
correct.
some are enjoying Android operating systems. But still, we understand it very clearly. The work is the same, but the interface is different.
Okay,
Nothing more apart from that. Am I correct?
right, right,
Same thing
right.
here. When you want to learn, if just in case, if you want to learn some things via command line, then definitely this is going to help you. And yes, we cannot achieve maximum things with the help of graphical user interface when compared to this particular shell interface.
Okay. So will it help me to automate task, and also it will be fast, I think, right?
Yes, obviously, our course is especially mentioned for the same process what you said, automate the
Okay.
process.
Okay. I just want to be a pro in my role as of now first, and then moving transition into different career will be best, I think, right? Because I will be understanding the CLI well, correct?
Yeah, yes, absolutely, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
Any
Thank
more
you.
questions, Nitish?
No, no, thank you. Thank you for your answers, and I would
Yep.
be happy to continue.
Yes, you're most welcome, and I'd like to give the opportunity for the next person. Yeah, and obviously, I have given you permission to speak. You can unmute yourself and you can speak to me. Hello, Navyasri. Good evening. Hello, Navyasri. Good evening. Am I audible? Yeah, I think so. She is unable to speak. So I'd like to forward it to the next person. That is Lokesh. Mr. Lokesh, I would like to speak to you.
Yeah, hi Varun. Good evening.
Hey, Lokesh. Very good evening to you.
Hope you're doing well, and everyone. I just eagerly waiting for your session to get some more information regarding the PowerShell.
Thanks to you. Yes,
And
any
right now, I was into network. I was doing as a network engineer in one of the a product-based company. So for I would like to perform the I mean, bulk operations using the PowerShell. So not up to the mark, but I would like to love to learn more of the PowerShell to make my work easier. Like you can say that automating the things here. Yeah,
cheer up, man. I'm also a network engineer. Then definitely we are going to cope up as well as you're going to learn very pretty new things. Of course, I know you have a good experience, but still, I try my best to give you good sort of things so that you can make the automation so simple.
sure, Varun. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for that.
much. You're most
Yeah.
welcome. You're most welcome, Lokesh. And yes, I would like to speak to the other person.
Yeah. Hi, Lokesh. Hello.
Uh, hello. This is Varun here.
Sorry. Varun, sorry.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, absolutely. You're so damn audible.
Sorry. Varun, actually, I am currently working in auto sales job and all that,
Okay.
right? Then this course useful for me when I create job that time application the team give script and all that, right? We
Yes,
can't understand. Then I want to learn this script and all that. Then that time this PowerShell use for script or PowerShell. Mm?
yes. I understand. Basically, most of the operations inside the company happens through automation.
Right,
I mean to say the regular things.
right.
So to make these operations pretty simple, most of the companies has acquired the automation process, and among those things, uh, the most common thing is Windows PowerShell.
Yeah,
So
right.
if you're learning this PowerShell concept, then definitely you're going to do your own automation to make your process so easy for yourself.
Okay,
I'm not sure about your calendars. I'm not sure about your work day setup, but still, I can say a very simple thing that if you want to execute something, yes, this PowerShell is gonna help you a lot.
okay, okay,
A- and pretty simple. Something like if you want to understand what PowerShell is about, just make sure to attend one more session. Apart from today's session, one more session. I request you to attend one more session so that you will understand, yes, what is PowerShell about, and whether it is going to help to your work process. If it is helping your work process, then definitely go for it. If it is uh, not suitable to you, then I can definitely say, okay, this is not your cup of tea.
okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you so much. And I'd like to give an access to Parul Goyal.
Yeah, hi Varun. I have
Yes,
six
hello.
plus years.
Uh,
I have six
I'm so
plus years
sorry,
of.
Parul. Your voice is pretty low. By any chance, could you increase your volume?
Hello, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you're absolutely audible now.
Yeah. Hi Varun. I have almost 6 plus years of experience as an in IT domain, and I just want to know, is there any difference between PowerShell, Bash shell, and shell scripting, or those are same?
Yeah, pretty complex question, but yes. The answer is simply yes. There is a difference between PowerShell as well as the Bash scripting. Okay, I'd like to elaborate, and I want everyone to understand very simple thing. Okay, Our computer understands a very easy language, which is called as binary language. And we all know very clearly the hardware understands the binary language. But yes, human doesn't understand binary language so easily. So to make an interface, we have designed plenty of setups, something like operating system. Going forward, we have designed application softwares, and moving forward, we have designed middleware things. So there are plenty of things to understand in between. So when our computer hardware understands our language, then obviously they will produce an answer. But unfortunately, we cannot see the answer without an interface in between us. We cannot see the answer without an interface between the hardware and the user. So to clear that interface issues, there are many things: low level formatting, high level operating system, intermediate level operating system. There are many things which are acting in between. There are many things, many and many more things acting in between. But yes, we are into shell. So we'll say very clearly, whatever we say to the shell will translate it to the hardware, and it will make sure that yes, hardware understands our instruction and performs the same action and gives the output. Okay, so that is called as shell. That is very simply called as shell. Okay, that is simply called as shell. Okay, so basically I am starting the session. Of course, I'm making you to understand this session as well. This particular shell, this particular shell is the same in any of the operating systems, in any of the hardwares. We are just communicating with the hardware, whether it might be with the Windows, or it might be with the Linux, or it might be with the any other operating systems like Apple. Okay, so shell is a just part that is communicating with us. That is communicating with us. Okay, so when you're providing some instruction to the shell, it is going to instruct to the hardware, and hardware is going to perform the action and will give us the reply back. Hope you understood the point.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Varun.
Okay, thank you so much. And yes, okay, I would like to go back to this session, and let us understand today's session. Yes, who all are waiting for the point? Yes, we'll definitely speak in the upcoming session. And right now, I'd like to update you about the particular things like something more important. That is, if you want to know about the updates about our batch, if you want to know about the updates our batch, so you have to join this WhatsApp group, and this WhatsApp group is posted in your chat box right away, so that you can understand about, oh sorry, you will receive the information about all our updates. And if you join this group, you're going to get the pure updates about the classes, the sessions, the practicals, the notes, or in case if there are any placements, definitely we'll make sure to understand you about these placements as well. So that if you are joining this WhatsApp group, then definitely it is going to helpful for you. Not just this, if you're going to join our particular groups in this particular page, then definitely is going to help you in the further sessions. Not just in terms of notes, it is going to help you in terms of placements, in terms of subject, in terms of any of the notes, in terms of any new updates, in terms of the information. Okay, now I would like to enter into my actual topic, okay, which is about the PowerShell. So I would like to say something like, what is welcome to PowerShell. That is, what is a shell? I just now introduced you something about shell. That is, a shell is a user interface that gives you access to the operating system. When you want to perform any action with the computer, or a machine, you require something called as an interface, because we clearly know something like the hardware doesn't understand our human language. So we are using some software or some mediator in between us. And here we are using an interface called as operating system. And yes, the operating system will take the inputs from the user from this shell. Okay. Now let's understand what is PowerShell, what is Linux shell. Both are the same. Both are the interfaces between different types of operating systems. Now let me say something like, what can I use PowerShell for? What can I use PowerShell for? So here I'd like to say very clearly, PowerShell allows you to write scripts and use commands to automate repetitive tasks. So I'd like to come again. PowerShell allows you to write scripts and use commands to automate repetitive tasks. And basic some like examples I have here. Capture your logs on single or multiple servers. I guess this is a pretty high thing for each and everyone. So I don't want to go ahead from here. So I want to show something to you which is practically understood by you. So I'd like to open PowerShell. Okay, I'm using Windows 10 operating system where PowerShell is by default integrated. So you can see this is my PowerShell. So it is by default integrated. So I'm opening my PowerShell, and if I run any of the command, it is going to be executed here. Like most of us regularly perform a task called as opening the Explorer. Opening the Explorer. Just say very clear thing. Just say very clear thing. So if I want to browse my hard disk, or if I want to browse my disk, something data like which is in D drive or E drive or F drive or so and so drive, I want to access the drive, for which I have to go to the File Explorer. So this is a symbol which I got here, but still I'd like to say that this PC, okay, I'm just searching something for this PC on my search toolbar in my Windows operating system. So when I open this PC here, so it is showing different disks available here. It is showing different disks available here. Just in case, if I want to see the same Explorer, this is actually called as Windows Explorer. Just in case, if I want to see the same Explorer, then what do I type in my PowerShell? So this is a PowerShell I have given. I'll just simply type Explorer. You can see the text is in yellow. It means it is a valid text. And enter, I can see the Explorer opening. The Explorer is open. Okay. Now you might ask me, what is the difference between command prompt and this particular PowerShell? Just in case, if someone has a knowledge on the difference between command prompt and if someone has a knowledge something like difference between command prompt and PowerShell, then what we're going to explain them about. Or like, let me say, if you're already experienced with command prompt, what is the use of this PowerShell? So I have made a small notes to make you understand about what is the use of PowerShell. Okay. Again, the same thing. PowerShell is also an advanced version of command line interface, or let's say command line shell, and as well as it is going to connect with the scripting language. Scripting language. So basically, it is designed for the administrative task in the Windows environment. We have to understand basically this is designed to handle the administrative tasks in the Windows environment. Now you might ask me very clearly something like why we require administrative tasks in Windows environment. Why do we require administrative tasks in the Windows environment? It is very clear that Windows uses graphical user interface. It means everything happens over a click. Everything happens over a click. But but just assume the developers of Windows are also software coders. The developers of Windows are also software coders. Okay. It means they should also understand something like they should also understand something like the coding is the coding is the only language which computer understands. But yes, with this coding, we can create an interface through which through which the user connects the computer. Okay, this is what the point. I'm just elaborating the point about the scripting. Okay, so it is PowerShell is a command line shell and scripting language. I would like to stress it again. PowerShell is a command line shell and scripting language, which is designed for system administrative tasks, especially in Windows environment. And that's the only reason we call it as Windows PowerShell. Okay. So there are some of the key benefits. I'd like to only highlight about the major points like using PowerShell, we can do a process called as automation. Now you might ask me a question. Can't we do this with this command prompt? Okay. So I got a question from Mr. Rucha Khali. Okay, you can unmute yourself and you can speak to me. Hello, Rucha. You can unmute and you can speak to me. Okay. Fortunately, I guess he's not available to speak. Okay. So as of now, according to our understand, let's say PowerShell is used for automation. Okay. So whenever we want to perform some repetitive tasks on our Windows operating system, then we are actually doing it with the help of mouse, keyboard, and most of you already know something like the client operating system on the global level is basically Windows. Okay. So here we have to understand it very clearly. Here we have to understand it very clearly. The client operating system for most of the users globally is Windows. So to provide services to our Windows machines or Windows clients, they have designed something called as automation. Okay. So most of the times will be doing the repetitive tasks. And if you are asking me about what are those such repetitive tasks, I'll be explaining you in the upcoming sessions, definitely by showing the practical proof. Okay. And next comes the flexibility. Next comes the flexibility. Okay. This PowerShell offers a wide range of functionalities. And I would like to introduce a new word to you here that is called as CMD LETs. That is called as CMD LETs. CMD LETs are something which are very much familiar to Windows environment people, but not to each and everyone. CMD LETs are those commands which will help us to integrate with the open source applications. Not just applications, any of the open source predictability. Okay. So that's why we call it as flexible. It means it is going to connect to other operating system environments as well. Okay. Next comes, as I told you, flexibility, the same repeats on the integration as well. And next comes the scripting language. Scripting language. Okay. Here we have to understand something like PowerShell is PowerShell is a strong shell built by Microsoft, and here we require the commands or the usage of the script should be in a desired format designed by the Microsoft team. And again, I am repeating, PowerShell is not at all an operating open source operating system. This is a designed setup or designed software by Microsoft. That's the only reason Microsoft has segregated this PowerShell into multiple components. We can see automation, we can see flexibility, we can see integration, and we can see its own scripting language. Its own scripting language through which it is getting connected to all the other available servers. I'm also telling you about something like this. Not just servers; it is also connecting multiple network devices. Okay, and next comes remote management. Using PowerShell, you can go ahead and access one of your friend's machine if you're local, or one of your server machine if you're into a corporate, or if you're into a job. Okay, and this remote manage is gonna help. This is gonna help the other associate to configure the devices. Configure the devices. But yes, after configuring the devices, if the person is not available, how we are going to access the device? Here comes an act. It is not just always the Cisco. We even Microsoft has built the network, so Microsoft can also access the device over the internet and can check about what happened to that particular. Okay, let me say what happened to that particular device, or particular port, or particular connection, or particular PC. Okay, next comes, you might ask me about what is the security using PowerShell. Okay, so PowerShell includes some features. Sorry, so sorry to say this. Yes. So sorry for that. Okay, PowerShell includes something like security. So what is the security in PowerShell? So PowerShell includes some features like script signing. And yes, we have to understand something like there are policies in PowerShell for which we can provide some security while executing. And not just that, we can also providing some language mode. Language mode. It means PowerShell understands only those scripts which are provided by the Microsoft. Apart from Microsoft language, if you're trying to give any other language, then you have to inform your Microsoft operating system about this particular language. If not, it is not going to be worked. Okay, and next comes, yes, there are many. The same thing is repeated again, so I don't want to expand it about it more. Now let's say something about extensibility. Okay, PowerShell is highly extensible, which allows users to create custom CMDlets. CMDlets is nothing but command line utilities. Okay, I'd like to repeat it. Command line utilities. Command line utilities, where you can see modules, where you can see scripts to extend its functionality. Very simple thing. PowerShell is used for the functionality. It is not just an interface where we can perform some commands and some things to happen. It can perform multiple things. It has an ability to provide the functionality to handle the operating system. Okay, to all my attendees who are into Windows server administration, for all those, very simply, I am very simply providing an information that if you want to just in case if you want to perform something on your server, perform something on your server, it would be rather very grateful while performed on PowerShell rather than performing graphically. I understand everyone can see the options very quickly on the graphical interface, but yes, when it comes into server mode, it is not so easy to work on graphical things as the load is distributed to the machine or the device from the users. Okay, so uh, so this particular interfaces understand the help us to understand the hardware as well as provide the instructions according to the hardware. Okay, I just want to check with everyone, each and everyone team. Is my voice audible or is it breaking in between? I just want to know, please, team. Am I audible or is there any disturbance in between? Okay, thank you so much, team. Thank you so much. Okay. Uh, I'm just going continuously with the theoretical part. So, is it clear to everyone till now what all I said for you? I just want to ask each and every person because everyone has a chat permission. Is it clear for everyone? So, what all the benefits of PowerShell I said just now? Is it clear for everyone? Okay, and I'm looking for more and more responses here. Is it clear for everyone? Is this clear for everyone? Okay, others uh, who have a question who have a question, then definitely please post it in the chat box so that I can respond to your question because this is the very first session. So we will understand each other. We'll understand about the subject and I'll be a mediator between subject and you. And of course, PowerShell is an interface between hardware and user. So I'll become an interface between you and PowerShell. Okay, hopefully the voice is so clear. Thank you so much for all your confirmations. And yes, well, I'd like to move to the next and the most important feature of PowerShell, that is cross-platform support. Cross-platform support. That is, you know all very clearly. That is when we are in Windows operating system. When we are working on Windows operating system, we cannot jump onto other operating systems, some things like Linux or any other operating system. Let me say Mac. We cannot jump with other operating systems because this PowerShell is designed by Microsoft and somewhere about Linux shell that is designed by the open source tools and somewhere about Mac operating system which is designed by Apple. There is a company called Apple. So everyone has their own individuality which cannot be shared among themselves. So how we are going to connect with other operating systems? So basically, when you're working on this PowerShell, you'll be working with multiple servers. See, PowerShell is used only for servers. I'd like to repeat again, PowerShell is majorly used for servers. It is majorly used for servers. So I might use a Windows server or I might use a Linux server. Just in case, if I require both of the servers, then we require a cross-platform connectivity. And yes, this particular PowerShell is a software which will allow the cross-platform software connectivity. Not just connectivity, it is going to be a biggest support for this connection. Okay, how it is going to be a biggest support for the connection, I will show you practically. But yes, let us understand it theoretically for today's class. Okay, so basically PowerShell is associated with Windows environments. Okay, Later on, it also included something like the open source. I'm not making you to study, so sorry for that. Now, later on, Microsoft has been actively working to make the cross-platform work with PowerShell core, the open source, and some of the other private interfaces, so that sorry to you all, second please. Thank you for a short break, team. Now you can understand. Okay, cross-platform support. Whenever I want to work with my Linux server, whenever I want to work with my Mac server, if I want to connect to these servers, I have to use their particular applications. Just to understand or good to know information, Windows servers are mostly connected with graphical user interface, and that will happen via remote desktop interfaces. Simply we call it as RDPs. Okay. And when you come to Linux, even yes, Linux also connects with SSH. But if you see SSH or sometimes Telnet, but if you see, both are different platforms. In Windows, everything is in graphical. In Linux, everything is in command line. But yes, if you want to perform something with these both operating systems at the same time, then we have to connect these particular operating systems using this particular cross-platform support. Okay. And yes, PowerShell has an ability to perform this cross-platform support. Okay. Just second, team. Okay, definitely. I'll share you the notes. Some one of you has requested for the notes. Yes, definitely. I'll send you the notes, but not this will not be the notes I'll send to you. I'll share you the notes with a proper with a proper written script. This is my introduction notes. Okay. So as I said you in the beginning, as I said you in the beginning, you will get connected to the WhatsApp group so that I can post you all the updates in the WhatsApp group. And yes, if you want to see these particular notes, you can get connected to our WhatsApp group and provide your mail address so that all my notes will be shared to you. Please join the group and provide your email address so that we can provide our notes to you and on daily basis. Okay. So initially you can get connected with us and get the notes as well. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Okay, so let me jump on to the next point. Okay, if you're familiar with Windows, okay, I would like to say something like if you're familiar with Windows, so then you might have understood or you might have known something about this command prompt. Okay, so I'm opening command prompt on my machine, and I'm typing the same command, something called as Explorer. I give the same command, and you can see the result is same. You can see the result is same. The same thing which I have done on the PowerShell is also same. So if I type something called as Explorer and the result is same again. Now you might ask me, what is the particular difference between command prompt and this particular PowerShell? Why did Microsoft introduce PowerShell even after they got a pretty good tool called as command prompt? Okay, okay, let's understand the difference between PowerShell as well as command prompt. So I'm asking in front of you, everyone. Please understand. I'm asking in front of you. Difference between PowerShell and CMD. What is the difference between PowerShell and CMD? Basically, you can understand. CMD is used primarily to execute batch commands. Batch commands. You have to understand. CMD, the command prompt, is used to execute the batch commands. Okay, batch command something like if I want to shut down my machine. So I'd like to use the batch command. If I want to open an application, I'd like to use a batch command. But whereas PowerShell can be used for execute, executing batch commands as well as administrative purposes. It means it can also handle some scripts. It can also handle some scripts. Okay, scripts. So these scripts are used to automate the tasks. So very clear thing, scripts are used to automate the tasks. So for our basic understanding, I'd like to say something like, okay, if you're giving a task to one of your friend, something like I may say something like to my friend, please come to my location. I am here at this point. This is a task. This is a task. But just in case, I'll say something like, hello Varun, where are you? If you are here, yes, I am here. So please get all this. So index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4, all these things. Please gather all those things and come to my place. Where am I? I don't know where am I. Sorry, even that person doesn't know where am I. So what I'll do, I'll just share my location and I'll update him to pick all these things in between and come to my home. Come to my home. Now this has become a script. This has become a script. It means you're not just telling something like to perform single action. Basically, we all do these things at our home regularly. So we'll say something like in a school, we'll say something like sit down. It is something like sitting down. That is only performing one single action. But at home to the same child, what do you say? What do you say? After coming from the school, you say something like change your dress, get freshen up, come back to your place, start doing homework, and blah blah blah. I'm just taking a basic comparison. So start doing so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so. It is not just single instruction. It is something like updating the person about one by one task. Even the script for perform the same thing. If you're executing batch commands, it is going to perform the action whatever you're saying. If I say shut down my machine, yes, batch command is going to shut down my machine by performing the same task what I have given to it. Or it is going to be used mostly for the synchronization. If you add something to the particular folder, it is going to sync it to the particular folder. Let me say from source folder to same destination. Similarly, if the machine has to perform some things particularly one after the other, then we are going to create something called as script. And to create the script, we use Microsoft Windows PowerShell. Okay, hope everyone understood about this session, and I am waiting or I am looking ahead for the questions from each and everyone here. And yes, this is a very small course and we are going to This is a very small course and we are going to practice more and more in terms of reality, and we are going to see everything very clearly. Yes, I got a question from one of the person. Hi sir, is this a course for developers or system administrators? Okay. Yes, a very good question from one of the participant. This particular course is for the both. I would like to say is for the both. It is both for developers as well as the system administrators. Of course, it is most useful for system administrators because they are the ones who will execute commands using the automation. Any other questions from anyone? Any other questions? Okay, did everyone understood about this today's class? Course duration would be not more than 21 to 22 days. And yes, this course, yes, got your question. Very good. This course would be would be maximum time practically. Theoretically, you'll understand things, but yes, most of the times it would be practical. Thank you so much for the message. If you have any questions, please grab some questions for tomorrow's session. So we will dive into tomorrow's session. Okay, so sorry to interrupt. I got one more candidate. So who wants to speak? Solomon, you can speak. Sorry.
Hi, is this course going to be automation based, like, showing us how to automate administrative tasks?
Um, I repeat a pardon for you.
So is this course going to be automation based, like, you know, showing us how to automate administrative tasks on Windows servers?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. When you're using Windows environment and especially Active Directory. I'm so sorry to reveal this. I don't want to introduce about Active Directory in this session, but yes, if you're working with Active Directory, you have many more things to perform in automation mode. Yes, this PowerShell is a base thing which is gonna help you to do this automation. You don't require any coding knowledge. You don't require any what we say programmatic language. You can simply write the text which is understandable to the computer as well as the user.
Okay, thank you.
Most
So we're going
welcome.
to do that automation, right, in this class?
Yes, our major
Okay.
agenda is to understand about the our major agenda is to understand about this automation.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay, and I'd like to repeat again, team. So I want you to join this particular WhatsApp group so that you'll understand or you'll get more and more updates about our session. So I'm sending a WhatsApp group link in the chat box so that everyone can join that group. Okay, and tomorrow would be the session 2, demo session 2, and that is going to be the last demo session. And then we are going to start our session. Okay. Okay. Any more questions from anyone's side? Okay. Any questions from anyone's? Okay. I'd like to give opportunity for another person here. So
Hi.
Olaniba. Yes.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm
Yes.
glad, about this course. I have a question. So, I am new to IT industry, but I've been studying for a little while and I finally got a job as a cloud engineer. And in my current role, I work a lot, on servers, most especially Windows and Linux operating servers. And there's one task that I do every now and then, when I'm kind of like performing patching, that I have to kind of like install, KBs. Uh, but I want to ask you, because I usually have to kind of like install them one by one, install those patches, and then use um AZ copy to, move those patches from my system local machine into the server and then install them on the server, individually. But that's more of like a more manual work when I look at it. But with PowerShell, do you think there will be a way to automate the process whereby, you can just write a script and then put the KB numbers and then it just install them from Microsoft's website or something like that?
Yes, I understood your requirement, and I am so happy to say that this is possible with PowerShell,
Oh, okay.
especially PowerShell automation scripts.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, most welcome.
All right.
Okay, any other questions from anyone's? Okay, any other questions from anyone? Okay, I'd like to give the option to Rakesh. Yes, Rakesh, you can unmute and you can speak to me.
Hi, Varun. This is regarding, I posted my question in the chat box. Like, does this course includes the integration with Power Apps as well?
Uh, okay, okay, yes, that is possible, but as a as an introductory or as a beginner, it is not so easy to understand about the integration part. It is not so
Mhm.
easy to understand about the integration of third party things into the PowerShell.
So, you mean to say we are not doing any integration to any third party apps. We are just doing some administration task within the Windows itself,
No,
isn't
no.
it?
Basically, we are understanding something like, okay, I'd like to show you my course content to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you'll understand about what we are
Mm-hmm.
going to do here. I hope you have gone through with these particular things. Once
Uh,
again, I'd like to show you about these particular things. So we are going to understand about these particular things where we have seen where we'll be seeing about functions and conditional formats. But
mm-hmm.
yes, it is not so easy about the integration of Power Apps or integration of some third-party apps directly into this particular PowerShell. Of course, I'm gonna help you for that particular thing. If you require it for mandatory, yes, I'm there here to help you.
So, just a question like, as part of my day-to-day job, I need to run few pipelines in Azure DevOps. So,
Okay.
will this PowerShell script help me to automate those pipelines trigger
Ab-
automatically?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to come again. So
Mm-hmm.
you can see something here in my syllabus. What I am here, I'm going to show you here.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how to set up or how to do something like automation into this using this PowerShell.
Mm-hmm.
See, PowerShell is the greatest environment in entire Microsoft operating systems, especially Windows, where it can do something so wonderful that it is gonna automate our daily tasks. But yes, for that purpose, we require many more things. That is what you're going to learn in these sessions, in this course, especially.
All right, Varun. Thank you.
Yes. And yes, one more person wants to speak. Okay, Solomon, you can go ahead and speak to me. Okay, I hope that is clear to each and everyone. And yes, in tomorrow's session, it would be totally technical, where I'll be showing you about this particular uh, application called as VSC Visual Studio Code. And yes, we'll be working with, as I mentioned in the syllabus, we'll be working with one of the ISC, that is Intelligent Scripting Environment. Okay, and not just that, we're going to understand about the variables, syntax, CMD lets, and functions in the PowerShell. Okay, so it is some sort of mini AI tool where everything can be performed when you are involved with the Windows operating systems. Okay, all right. So I have used a good word called as automate. So we are going to learn about the automation in tomorrow's session. We are going to understand about what is automation and how to do automation. And let us see some small example about how the automation is going to happen using this particular PowerShell. Okay, that's all for today, team. Thank you so much. And let us meet tomorrow at 6 p.m. IST. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, team.